Shalom, everyone, and welcome back. I hope everyone's had a good week and following the news and what's going on in Israel. And all of our prayers go out to the soldiers and the inhabitants of Eretz Yisrael, the land of Israel, that they should have a peaceful week and they should take care of what they have to take care of there and solve this difficult problem of ridding not just Israel, but the world of the scourge of terrorism. So we all pray for them, as I'm sure all of you have. This week's Torah portion, the portion of Lech Lecha, talks about the trip that our father Abraham was told to make by God. Lech Lecha, go, mi artzecha, from your land, mi moladcha, from your birthplace, mi beis avicha, from your father's home, el haaretz asher areka, to the land that I will show you. It doesn't really make sense. It seems that God is telling us first, go on the journey, and then at the end, he tells us there's going to be a destination, the land that I will show you, the land of Israel. But why doesn't it say at the beginning, skip the first part, go from your land, from your father's house, from your birthplace? We know that already. If you're going someplace, obviously you have to do that. But rather, it is really telling us something very profound. And that is that the destination is not as important as the journey itself. That the journey is really what it's all about. Getting there is, as they say, getting there is the majority of it. And how do we get there? How do we get to the land of Israel? Not necessarily by buying a ticket on El Al, but by getting there by doing mitzvahs, by performing the commandments of God, by being a good person, by acting kindly towards each other, by helping each other out. You know, this difficult time in Israel has been very hard for so many people, but in many respects it's brought out the very best in us. The Jewish people have been incredibly resilient during this time, taking care of each other. There are many stories about how people protected each other and even lost their lives because they protected other people from being harmed in this terrible scourge, this terrible massacre that happened. And many, many stories of heroism that are only beginning to come out of how people acted in times of crisis, in times of difficulty. And we also, even though we may not be in the land of Israel during this time, but there's so many things that we can do as well to help Israel, to help the soldiers of Israel, to help to conquer this difficult problem that we have of terrorism. So many things that we can do. We can provide funds, very needed funds, for the needy families that have lost loved ones, for people who have been wounded, and for our soldiers on the front lines. We can help them, and there are many, many different funds that are available for people. We're encouraging people to give generously to all of the various Chabad funds out there. Chabad is on the front lines of helping people. We have been sending a great deal of money to Sderot, to the community on the border of Gaza. I just read recently that the mayor of Sderot just had a heart attack, and God should protect him, God should heal him from anything. He must be going through a terrible, terrible time with his community, which were invaded by terrorists on that fateful day on October the 7th. Many people in Sderot lost their lives there. What he is going through, this poor man, and it's caused him to have a heart attack, and he's in the hospital, and God, we should all pray for him, that he should have a refuah shalem. I don't know his name, but I'm sure we can look it up. We can do mitzvahs in the merit of people in Israel by davening more, coming to shul more often, doing acts of kindness, increasing our prayer, and increasing our Torah study. We can do that. We can keep in touch with people who we know in Israel and let them know how much we are concerned about them, and we're there for them, and we're praying for them that they should be well. There's so many things we can do. Recently, a group of 27 Chabad rabbis went for 4 days to Israel, and they went there and they helped the soldiers, and they made barbecues for them, and they put tefillin on with the soldiers, and they gave out many things that the soldiers needed, such as helmets and flak jackets and all kinds of other things, and they paid shiva calls to loved ones who lost their relatives there, and they visited hospitals, and they went on the front lines to the soldiers and gave out snacks and food for them, and just told them how much they were there for them. And it was tremendously appreciated by the people in Israel, these rabbis who came from their comfortable homes and in Florida and in California and in New York and other places in Canada, to be there on the front lines with the soldiers and tell them how much they're there for them and they're concerned about them. This is really bringing out the very best that we have in the Jewish people. As they are bombing Gaza, the Israeli soldiers are being very careful to try to minimize the civilian casualties. Unfortunately, there are civilian casualties, as there are in every war, and they should not be blamed on the Israelis, but they should be blamed on Gaza, on the Hamas terrorists who have caused this whole thing to happen. What is troubling me very, very much is that the press and the students, unfortunately, on the university campuses are blaming Israel for this. What chutzpah, what nerve they have after what Hamas has done, and they are now on Hamas's side, or the Secretary General of the United Nations saying that this has not come in a vacuum. This man should be ashamed of himself. He should resign his post. But rather, we should see that the true heroes of the story are the Israeli people who are fighting and who are there and who are being strengthened by the heroism and the love that they are seeing throughout the world. So we should pray and hope that everything should be well. This whole incursion should be completed quickly and effectively, so that there shouldn't be any more problems from any terrorists anywhere in the world as a result of this, because I think the Israeli people, the Israeli army, are not fighting just for Israel, but they're fighting for the whole world. And we wish them success, and we wish them that all of our prayers are with them, and God willing, they should be completely successful, and there should be no casualties at all on the Israeli side, God willing. Candlelighting in San Diego is at 5:45 p.m. We look forward to seeing you on Shabbos, and I want to wish you all a good Shabbos.